Today I'm bringing Evelyn, and we are going to talk about the perks, the overwhelm, the joys about having a business, and in her case, having a business while still on a 9 to 5 corporate job. Okay, and Evelyn not only juggles the two things, but she's also a mother of two children below 2 years old. So you can already know there are plenty things to juggle, and that's amazing. So how did we met? We met in a Facebook community, and soon we vibed together, and not too long we came here to Instagram, started to cheer each other up, and making a great connection with each other. It has been so great. I already collaborated with her in her podcast. You can see in the past posts I have on the feed. And today I'm bringing Evelyn. Let's see if she is able to show up. This has been difficult. So, and I was talking about how great is what she's doing with her husband. They are still working, and they are building their business along the way. And this is great because I didn't do that, and it was kind of a mistake, because when I quit my my 9 to 5 job, I started a business that wasn't online, was offline, was a local shop. Hello, it was a local shop, and I couldn't manage the both things, so I quit the 9 to 5 job and started a business. So I didn't have that pillow of security, right? And this is a good thing that Evelyn is doing. Yeah, oh, it's great.
Hi.
Hi,
We made it.
welcome. Yeah. Okay, how are you?
I am very well. I'm excited to speak with you again.
Yes, this is so great. So I already introduced you a little bit, but go ahead and tell us about you.
Yes, so my journey as an entrepreneur started this year when my daughter was 3 months old. So while I was on maternity leave, I decided to co-found a business with my husband, and I'm back at work. So I'm working 4 days a week in corporate. And I spend one day a week working on the business, and night times when the girls are asleep. So the girls go to sleep at 7:30. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And while they're sleeping, we're trying to build this business up from side hustling, and we're hoping that in 2 years' time, we are able to both leave our corporate jobs and do this full time.
This is so great. Tell me what inspired you. I know a little bit, but tell to who will watch or is watching, tell what inspired you both, because it was a decision, a family decision, right? It
That's
isn't
right.
just you that want to leave the corporate job, your husband also. So what inspired you to start
That
this journey?
That is a good question. So I never thought of myself as wanting to be an entrepreneur. I loved to climb the corporate ladder, and I was happy doing that. But my husband has always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he started his business, and always very creative. And I would always tell him, I'll be the one that can bring that stability, and then you can do whatever you want to do. Long story short, after having kids, as probably a lot of us or women resonate. Once you have kids, a lot of things change within us. I guess our drive is different. And my drive was completely different. Once I had my first child, I wanted to be there more. And also, I guess we had some difficulties with her the first year going into hospital. And I just saw my husband, being on those client meetings and corporate not really understanding, his managers not really understanding our situation at hand. And we decided that at that point, I just looked at my husband just being stressed and not having the time to be there for the family. And that's when the penny dropped. And I said, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Life is too precious, and I want to be able to be there for my daughters and show up, I guess, in terms of whenever we feel like it, and have a business that's thriving that allows us to be there for the girls. And so that
Yes.
is the main reason. And I do believe that, I think you and I started a podcast also to also journal my journey, I guess, and also hold myself accountable that it will be hard. And I think most of the reason why I didn't want to get involved was because I knew how hard it was going to be. And being a mother is hard, and building a business is hard. And I just didn't really have that drive until then, until I found my why. That is when I decided I'm all in, and I know it's going to be hard, and I know we have to push through, and therefore, I guess that's why we started the journey. And I started to podcast my journey so that I could also inspire others to do it, and know that it's not an easy one. It's not an easy journey to go into, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. And learning as we go and learning from each other is so important.
It is, and you talked about a very important theme or aspect, points, that is knowing your why. And many
Yes.
people think that knowing your why needs to be something big that will change the world, but no, it can change your world or the world of someone near to you, right? But
Yeah.
it needs to have meaning to you, so you keep on the journey even when the bad moments, the difficult times come, right?
That's right. Yeah, and that actually has pushed me through all the tough times because it has been hard and it has been exhausting and it has been, I guess, yeah, just tiring. And you ask yourself the question, are we doing the right thing? Are we pushing it too far? Is it, I know that it's going to take 2 years to even get to a point where we're in a comfortable position to say, yeah, it is worth it. But I guess the why is why I guess I did a lot of that foundational work, so that I could remind myself that it will be worth it, and that I will thank myself in 5 years' time, and that I know that it's going to take that long. And yeah, and I guess learning from, and I've only been on this podcasting journey for 3 months. And I have actually learned a lot from others, like opening myself up and networking and meeting amazing and inspiring women like yourself, Andrea. It's also keeps me going.
Yeah, it's great when we start deep, meaningful relationships, and
Yeah.
we can actually put ourselves in a learning place, because
Yeah.
we have so much to learn from each other. Yes, that's so very important. So tell me a little bit about the you already told a little bit about the podcast, but tell a little bit
Yes.
more about that, and also tell us about the business you are building with your.
Yeah, perfect. So the business that we are building is called SAS Video Marketing. So it's a video marketing agency essentially that demonstrates software as a service. So my husband Adam has been selling software for a very long time. So he understands, I guess everything about software. He loves using software. So for example, we use ClickUp, right? For example, we use ClickUp for our business. And ClickUp is a software that can be used for so many things. And so what we do is we demonstrate the software. We understand the pain points of, I guess, people, and why would you want to use ClickUp, right? You have a pain, you have a reason why, you can't get projects done because projects are everywhere. Therefore, you use ClickUp as a system to help you out with those projects. So we are able to I guess, demonstrate those pain points by doing a demonstration videos. You probably have already done a lot of how-to videos on YouTube, how to manage my projects, right? And all these videos will come up. So essentially our business will come up, SaaS video marketing will come up, and it'll demonstrate the software and how to use it. So clients will be paying us to be able to showcase their software as a video marketing tool. Yes.
That's so
So
interesting. I like that.
so it's a lot more complex. I think my husband's probably better trying to explain all that sort of stuff. But essentially, based on those videos, you can also repurpose. I mean, marketing is we've learned so much in the past year in marketing, and you can actually repurpose these videos, and you can repurpose these contexts to then make them short reels, right? Everyone loves a good reel, and we can then create a 10 how-to video demonstration into a short reel where then, we just showcase maybe a minute worth of what that video actually does, how it creates a solution for people. And then I want to then actually click up and go, I need that system, and I need that because that's what it does, and that's what we're showcasing.
Yes, that's great. The short bites, or I don't remember
Yeah.
that is called, but yes, they are short, they are enticing, they bring curiosity. Yes, I
That's
like
exactly
that.
right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, and then in terms of the podcast journey, I guess the reason why I joined, or I started doing that was because I wanted to, I guess, take people through the journey of how hard it is. Because when I first started, I needed inspiration from others. How do they do it? How do they start? I mean, for me, I've never done it before, right? I don't know where to even begin. So I started listening to podcasts and listening to inspiring women that had done it before. However, what was missing for me was they were talking about 10 years ago when I started, or 10 years ago when I wasn't sleeping because my baby was waking me up, and, but now they're 10 years in and they're, millionaires, or, or not even millionaires. It doesn't have to be about, money. It's about them being successful, right? And they were in their success. And it was hard to resonate with them in that, and I'd get really demotivated when I'd hear how amazing they were helping clients get to their first six figures, and I was thinking, I just want to get my first $100 in from a client. How do I do that, right? So I decided to then create my own journey and bring people on this journey, and then hopefully inspire others who have just started out and who are also going through the tough times now, and me openly talking about how tough it can actually be, the challenges, but also the slightest wins that might not even be money related, because at the moment, I've openly said we haven't made anything really, but we've made so many more connections. We're learning so much, right, from marketing, all these things that I just had no idea, or didn't even know, marketing at all. Like, I just started learning the true marketing and social media aspects of it all. And so it's been already an amazing journey so far.
Yes, yes, and I love several things. Let me see if I remember all the things. You brought several points, very interesting points here. First of all, it is amazing what you are doing, because you are showing that it's possible.
Yeah.
And not easy, but it's possible. And yes, you also told about people showing how they were 10 years ago, and people feel a little bit disconnected, because this happens a lot, and even on other Facebook communities. I already saw women complaining, "Oh, I started a business last week and I'm not a millionaire already. What's happening?" And they're very upset. Like, what's happening? I was being trapped, foolish, I don't know. Something is wrong, and it's not me, it's the world. But
Yeah, and that's part of the marketing that you hear now. It's like, oh, I'll show you how to make six figures in 6 days, or it's crazy that that marketing
yes,
you start to think that, oh, okay, you can actually do this in 6 days. No, like I don't know why and how that works, and then it demotivates people, right?
yes,
And I guess that's the reason why I think it's so important to just be real and raw. And you and I have spoken about this before, and just be authentic, right? Just be true. That it just doesn't take 6 days to build a business, or
yes.
you don't make six figures in 1 year unless I don't know, unless a miracle happens. But it's
Normally,
very very
people
few.
Normally, people that do that six figures in 6 days, they already made other six figures in more time. But now they know how to do it in 6 days. And they have all the systems and all the knowledge that we don't have still because we didn't manage to go there
That's a
at
good
this
point.
moment. Someday we will. But it's very important and have a critical side, a vision, uh, high when we see that kind of content, because people they can do that. It's possible, and there are many people that do that in one day, but they have many things overlapped that
Yeah,
that made them climb that stair, right? It's a
that's
step by
true.
step, and there are many things that we don't see many times, and not
Yes.
all the people show it. Nowadays, you are showing, right, with your podcast, you are sharing your
Mm.
journey, and you are giving a little bit of reality to people, because
Yeah,
many times we only see what we want to share or others want to share. That's why many times here on Instagram we see all those curated and perfect feeds, and many times we compare ourselves because we are not this, we are not that, we should that, but
yeah,
there are so many things that we don't see. So that's very very important to have that in mention. And I wanted to reach. You talked something that I'm not remembering, but that's very very important to know about that and have that critical um, side and eye when we see things. I'm hearing
that's
myself
right.
again.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, actually. I can barely
I'm
hear you now.
yes. Mm, let me see. I have
I can hear you now.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Let
now
me
it's
see.
good. Yeah,
Okay. I think I'm not hearing myself again. Okay.
that's good.
Yes. I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about how you started showing up for this, right? How difficult it was for you to start doing that, showing up.
Yeah. It was very difficult. I guess I have always been a person that's been very deep, I guess. So, I like to journal, and in the back of my mind, I'd love to share things with people, right? It was just always something that I wanted to do, but never really had the courage. I never even thought podcast was, a thing that I never was interested in podcast, in hearing other podcasts, to be honest. But I definitely had something in me that I wanted to share with people, whether it be writing a book. And I think a lot of people sort of want to write a book, or there's so many things, and it was just in the back of my head. There was something in there, but I guess I never thought of me being creative, because I'm not. I'm not a very creative person. My husband is. And just watching my husband, I guess, do what he does, I'd look up to him, and I'd be like, wow, like, that's really cool that you want all of this. And I'm just happy in my corporate job. I'm happy just doing what I'm doing. So there was something in the back of my mind, right? But it only really started when I had started to journal a lot more when I had my second daughter. And the reason why I journaled was because it was a really tough time. Like, when I had my second daughter, my husband and I were arguing a lot. It was probably my happiest, but my most lowest point in saying that, because yeah, there was just a lot more that I had to carry in terms of the mental load, and it was driving me crazy. And it's not something that I ever thought I envisioned doing, as well. Being a mum didn't come natural to me either. So I just started journaling, and there was a lot of things that helped me through that tough time. It helped me through to also figure it out, understand what it was that was really bothering me. And it was the mental load, right? So I do talk about this in episode 10 in my podcast, because I did do a lot of journaling, and I figured the reason why I was so unhappy. But, between my husband and I, we figured it out. And in episode, and again, I talk about this in the episode that I just released today, I started to think about telling my story, and then also journaling our progress with the business. And as I was reading a book to my daughter, Dream Big, it dawned on me that I thought to myself, I just need to do a podcast. I just felt like I needed to do it, to share the story, to share what we've been through. But more than that, it's just for myself, to hold myself accountable and show up, because I knew how hard it was going to be. And I had fears, and I still have fears, that things will get too hard, and maybe I would just be like, you know what, I don't want this anymore. But I know how much I do want it, that doing this podcast and showing up on a weekly basis and talking about it and putting it out in the world, because I do believe in manifestation, that it will happen, that in 2 years' time, I'll just be that extra close. Maybe I won't, be as successful as I'd wished or I'd hoped to be, but I'd be that much closer. And that's how it all started. I guess just holding myself accountable and putting myself out there. And social media is not like people think that it would be comfortable, that I'd get comfortable doing it, but I'm not. I'm definitely not. The social media in my own personal, I probably posted once every 1 week, 2 weeks. Maybe if I traveled, I'd love to show off where I traveled to. But that's as far as I went with social media. And now with the business and the podcasting, I have to show up on a daily basis. I have to figure out what reels and how to do reels, and which I never even knew how to do that until maybe 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And bit by bit, I'm just learning as I'm going.
Yes, totally. And you pointed several points that are great. And one thing is that once we start to realize things are possible, or we start to learn things, the brain starts to make new connections and
Yes.
starts to open our mind, our sight, and we try to see what more is possible, right? And that's so great. And I always say motherhood and entrepreneurship is what makes us grow the most, but we need to look up for it, because if we keep a closed mind, we want to grow, right? The brain needs to grab a new learning, to then make a new connection and look for more, and that's so great. Yes.
And you are absolutely right, because when I first started the journey, Adam, my husband, asked me, "Are you going to do videos?" And I said, "No, hell no. It's just going to be audio. I don't watch videos. Like I've never watched a podcast. Like, I mean, I only started my podcasting journey probably the start of this year, and I only listen to them via audio. I'm like, no, I'm not doing videos. There's no way I'm going to do. Well, he said videos is everything, right? And we're a video marketing agency, so it makes sense for you to do videos. I think it took me 5 weeks. I think episode 5. I start episode 5 or episode 4 in videos. So now my podcast is on YouTube, and I've committed to that, because he's right. I mean, if we want our video marketing to be also successful, and I'm doing this podcast that is also, interrelated, then I need to show up on video. And that's just something that I have to do for our business. And another thing was Reels. I never did Reels and I never understood it. And you know, going back to the video part, I'm comfortable now. I've gotten through that, and I upload them on a weekly basis without even thinking about who's going to see it. I don't think anymore. It just gets done. Reels as well. I said I'm never going to do Reels, and then the more you look into marketing, the more you understand what Reels are about. I'm now doing them. And now I don't think twice. It's been maybe 3 or 4 weeks since I started doing it, and now it just comes second nature. Now I understand it. Now I just do it, and now it's the only thing I probably do now. Reels. So you're absolutely right. My brain has completely somehow gone through that initial fear of just getting it done, and then when I do it, I no longer think about it, and bit by bit, I assume that that's how successful people become successful, right? They just break through those fears
Yes.
the first time they do something, and then it just becomes just the thing that they do.
Yes. We need to remember that when we feel fear is because we don't actually feel fear for most of things. We fear the unknown. So if you never try to do something, there are some things we never tried that we get excited to experiment. Other things are very attached with the fear of failing, right? What if I fail? What if? And you were talking about videos and mostly the reels. Many people don't want to do reels because they see those reels and TikToks that people are dancing and people are all over the place. And mostly introverts, they don't want to look like that and do that stuff because it's not them. But you need to understand your business, your rules. You do what's aligned with your essence, with your personality. So if you are not a person that speaks very fast and loud and likes to make funny things and dance, you don't need just because others are doing. You need to do what's in alignment with you and in
Like
alignment
that.
with what you want to bring
Yeah.
to your people also. Because you will attract what you put out there, right? So if you are doing things that are not in alignment with you, but will be in alignment with other people, you will attract that people and they will expect from you to keep doing that. And it may not be sustainable if it's not in alignment with you. That's when you start to get resentful of your business and not wanting to put yourself out there, not put yourself in business. So it's very important to do things in alignment and understand what you really love, what you want to bring to your business and to your people.
That's right.
So, I was remembering a thing you talked some moments ago about celebrating the wins, the small wins, and that's so important also because many times we only envision the big goal, and until we get there, it seems like nothing is working. But
That's
we
right.
are already knowing so and learning so many things, and you already learned so many things, right? You know how to do reels, you know how to do stories. That it was like you. I only use social media for business. I'm not a person to be sharing much of my personal stuff nowadays. I share a little bit of personal stuff because I'm using my personal brand. So it needs to be personal also, not only business, right?
That's right.
Yes. Tell me if you started to shop, but it was your idea to start with your personal brand right from the first moment?
In terms of my personal brand for the business for podcasting.
for business.
For business, well, for our personal brand, we kind of had no choice to. We had to, because we're a video marketing agency, right? We decided that that is what we wanted to do, because that's what Adam has a lot of passion in. And it's funny because Adam has a lot of passion in video marketing, and he understands it, and he's very technical about it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a very social media kind of person either. So we talked about that. We said, these are the things, like these are the pros and cons. And when we decided to do the personal brand, and whether or not he needed to be in front of those videos, the more we looked at what other people were doing, the more it works. It resonates with people. People want to know, have connection. People want to know what's behind the business, who's behind the business. People want to know who we are, right? And what we do, and what, I guess what our story is. And I think that's really important. Well, I mean, for us anyway, it was very important to create our personal brand, and we started to talk about that, right? What is our story? Like, in terms of his story, my story, why are we doing this? And how does it connect to who we are as people and our values? And I think it's so important to do that with the business as well as your personal life. And we did do that for both when we initially started, to make sure that we had chosen the right thing for us, that we were going to stick it out for the long term, because I think that those foundations and fundamentals that we did the first 3 months are the pillar to how we operate now, as, I guess, business owners, and also people who we show up in our personal lives as well. So the personal brand, I think, is quite important nowadays. Don't you think? Well, what about yourself?
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
what I advocate. Yes, yes, and that's
Yeah.
why I support introverts, femininepreneurs to
Yeah.
short, so they can establish and build their personal brand, because so important. It makes a difference. Yes, it's possible to have a business without um, using your personal brand, but
Yeah.
it takes other costs. And if you are starting with your, and you don't have many capital to invest, starting with your personal brand makes a difference. And you
Yeah.
can know, this is the big example, but Elon Musk, just because he has such a strong image,
Yeah.
personal brand, he can
Yep.
start this and this company, and people are raving already for it, right?
Yep.
Because they trust him,
That's
like
right. Yeah.
people. They can start new business because people relate with their personal brand, with their values. Like Gary Vee, for instance, he also have plenty of business, and people really resonate with him and with his values. So it makes a difference. It's easier for you to establish and build a strong personal brand, and then you start the business you want, instead
Yeah.
of starting one that no one knows who's behind, and then
That's
you
right.
try to do another one, but that one you really need to make the effort from start, from scratch. And when the business you create are around your personal brand, you start from scratch, but you can leverage a lot of people towards it in the first moment, and it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that too. And yeah, for us it was a little bit different as well, because we wanted to have more of a social media presence at the beginning, but we're both working full time, so we're both working corporate. So it's definitely going to take us a bit longer than someone else that has the money already and can stop working full time, right? Because for us, we still have to be conscious. Like I mentioned to you, Andrea, beforehand, I've still got to be conscious that I'm still employed by another company. So I can't promote myself too much on Facebook and or LinkedIn at the moment. And so, I definitely feel that stops me from getting further than what I could be. But that's part of our journey, and that's part of it. So we also understand that we are in those restrictions at the moment. My husband Adam actually has just started a new contract 3 weeks ago where he's working 3 days a week. So at least he's got a bit more flexibility because he works 2 days in the business, and they know about SaaS video marketing, and they also know that he works on it on the side, and they're okay with that. And potentially, when they create videos, potentially they could also leverage off us. So that has been a really good stepping stone for us, and it's been 3 weeks since that has happened. So I think now at least Adam has a bit more freedom with that personal branding and getting himself out there. But for me, I've still got a little bit more to go. But that's okay. That's okay. It's part of it. And we are working within those restrictions at the moment. And hopefully, in 12 months' time or 24 months' time, that won't be a problem. And then you'll see us more on LinkedIn and Facebook. So yeah.
And you are doing an amazing job already. And when you are started, you don't need to go all over the place, mostly because normally when we are starting, we don't have that. We don't have a team. Many times we are solo entrepreneurs, so we also need to be sustainable with our time, with our energy. So
yeah, it's probably a good thing, taking it one step at a time. You're absolutely right. It is a good thing, because otherwise it'd be too overwhelming.
Yes. So this has been such a great conversation. Tell me, if you have any suggestion to who is watching, who will watch us on replay.
Any advice?
Yes, any advice,
Yeah.
word of inspiration, some wisdom?
Yeah, look, I could talk for hours on this, but no, my advice to anyone that wants to start is just start small, and you can start messy, and try to not overthink the bigger picture, because I think that what I struggled with was, oh, we want to get to here, but how do you even start? Like, how do you even begin, right? Just start small. Don't think overthink. As long as you have a goal, and work backwards. So if you have a goal, which is a good start, right? Even then, it can be overwhelming, right? But that's okay. Let it be overwhelming, but just start somewhere. Start to plan out what that would look like in 3 months' time. What do you need to do for the first 3 months to even get to that point? Will it be research? Do you need to research what it is? Just start. Just start anywhere, and bit by bit, you will end up getting there. And I think planning is a big part of it. And I think that if you want it enough, you'll figure it out, and you always do. And I'm figuring it out, and I don't think that will stop. Even when I do get to my goal, it'll be something else, which I'll have to figure out. So you kind of don't stop. Once you start, yeah, it'll just flow. Yeah, things will happen. And I think that if you've got a dream, if you've got a goal, go for it. And start small, start messy, and you'll figure it out.
Yes, is so important. And dream.
Yes.
For many
Yes.
years, I thought life was that, and that I wasn't worthy or allowed to dream, or that what I thought it was too big. And nowadays I see that it is. So dream.
Dream, yes, yeah, absolutely.
And take
Dreams are always important, and that's part of my episode today that I launched. It's, you tell your kids to dream big. You tell your kids that they can do anything they want, that their world is, their oyster, as I say. But, it's never too late to dream big. It's never too late for us to take action. And if you want your kids to do that, then you have to start doing that yourself.
Yes, 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 and that is very important because more easily we cheer others up than ourselves, and we need to
Yep.
be the one that pushes ourselves the most because probably if you don't share with other people, or even if you share, other people may not give you that support that you are expecting to because they judge, they
Yeah.
think about our dreams according to their life experiences,
Yeah.
their beliefs, their values, and if it's not in alignment with ours, they will not give the support we are looking for. So we need to
Yeah.
give that support to ourselves. Yes.
That's right. And then I think it's also very important to remember that not everyone is going to like you, and not everyone is going to want the same things as you. And that's okay too, right? It's okay to have a different journey. But those that do want the same things, or do believe in you, then you will find those people. You will. There's always someone. Even with my podcasting journey, I ask that question all the time. Like, why would anyone want to listen to me? It doesn't matter. Does it matter? Like, I know I'm not going to be liked by everyone, but those few people that might like what I talk about, it might it might inspire them, it might change them, and for that one person, is it worth it? Then yes, and if it's worth it, then you just keep doing it. And as long as you're happy, as long as you're truly being authentic and doing the things that you love to do, I think that's another advice that I'd give you. Just follow that, and try not to get too caught up on what others may think or not think of you. I think what's important is you. Like, yeah, what do you want to do, and what do you want to chase, and what is important for you in your life, and what's important for you and your family. What do you want your kids to know you as? What do you want your husband to know you as? That's all that matters, really. Does it matter what anyone else thinks of what you're doing? No, it doesn't.
Yes, totally.
Mm,
Yes. That's such a great way to wrap up this life. It's totally, totally. Love it.
yeah.
Thank you again for being here. Love it so much, this conversation.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Andrea. You are such an inspiration, and I loved having you on my podcast on episode number 11. So if anyone hasn't listened to that, it was such an inspiring episode with you, Andrea, and I love being part of your network now.
Yes, sure, we will repeat that again in some time in the future because it's always a pleasure to be with
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, I would love to have you back on.
Okay, so thank you so much.